Hello again. I'd just like to tell you a little bit about me and the experiences I've had. Before I went into real estate, I sold insurance and built houses. I built houses in the 1960s. One of the reasons I chose to go into real estate was a real estate agent that I used to sell my homes. Fred Hune was his name. I'd list my houses that I was building with him. One day I discovered he was making more money off the houses than I was, so I decided, well, maybe that's what I should do. And I was already selling insurance and doing a pretty good job at selling insurance. And so I thought I'd go into real estate. Now, when I was selling insurance, we used to have deals where we'd bring people in to, because I sold insurance with mutual funds, securities. We brought in some people trying to convince them to at a place where we buy them dinner and then give them a presentation. And one of the fellows that was in the class, I approached and he says, "I'd love to buy your insurance." I was so excited, and then he said, I've had a lot of heart attacks and I don't think anybody put insurance on me. And he was right. Well, he talked me into getting a book, Seminoles Questions and Answers on Real Estate. So I got the book and started reading it, and then in those days you didn't have to take a course from anyone. I scheduled myself in to go take the exam, and I went out to Pier and took the exam and passed it, and I was ready to go to work for that broker that I just told you about. But in the meantime, he had a heart attack and died, so I never did work for him. I started in real estate in '68 as an agent selling real estate, and through the years I evolved to the point where I was the top. There was 11 other agents in the real estate office I worked in, and I was the 12th agent. I did as much business as the other 11 agents combined. And so then I decided in 1974 that maybe I should move on. So I took the broker's exam in April of '74, and decided I was going to have my own office, or I was talking to the broker I was working with about being a partner. And when I approached him about the partnership, he blew it off. And so I went and bought the Realty Center, which had already been established, and I bought it from a broker that was leaving town. He had bought a hardware store in Crookston, Minnesota. Now, the Realty Center started in 1972, and some of the agents that the Realty Center had when it started were Don Dunham Sr. or Don Dunham Jr. He's the head of Don Dunham Real Estate here in town, Dean Schultz and Al Small, and they started at the same time I bought the Realty Center. They were leaving to start Schultz, Dunham and Small. And so in 1975, we were a struggling office. Dave Eastman was one of the first agents I hired. And so we started selling real estate, and then in 1976 I rose into the top 5 firms in Sioux Falls, and in 1977 I had the top firm in Sioux Falls. And that's the year, 1977, I joined Century 21 and continued. 78, Dunham had started his own office, and he had the top firm in town, and then in 79 I again was the top firm in Sioux Falls, and I had 66 agents at the time. We were the largest firm in South Dakota at the time. Of course, then we got into 80 and 81 where the interest rates rose to 18%. I sold a home to a doctor here in town, and he got an adjustable rate mortgage, and his rate was 18%. On a $53,000 house, his payments were $1,400 a month. And so it was tragic to real estate. The people that were selling real estate in Sioux Falls went from 675 licensed agents in May of '79 to 175 agents in December of '81. So it was quite a quite a rough period for real estate. There was a lot of agents that left the business. Some of them came back, some never did came back. Some of the other things I've done, from 1972 until 1989, I did appraisal work for Home Federal, Northwestern National Bank, and mostly the credit unions. So I was a licensed appraiser for 17 years. I decided not to do it in '89 when they raised the standards and they wanted to increase the workload. And with running an office and having a school, I just didn't have enough time to do it, so I dropped out of it. So I haven't done any appraisals since '89. I joined Century 21 in 1977, and for 4 years I was district director for South Dakota for Century 21. I was a broker. In fact, in 77 and 79, I was the second producing office in Century 21 during those years. From 82 until 89, my office handled Roning's home sales as an outside broker that they brought in to sell their new homes for them. We worked open houses on Saturday and Sunday and Wednesday nights during the summer, and we worked at Parade of Homes many times, and we were even given office space in Roning Enterprises to sell their homes. Over the years, I've hired and trained over 1,000 real estate agents, and at one time I said I had one of the top and the highest producing office in South Dakota. I've had commercial departments, I've had agricultural departments, I've had multifamily, we've been into property development. One time I had a commercial department in the late 70s. It was one part of my firm. We had a chance once to sell the Newtown Mall, which is Empire East. I've sold farms. I've sold farms for $4 and $5 million at a time. So I've done some agricultural sales. I owned a mobile home park myself. At one time, my wife and I had 35 separate properties in Sioux Falls. So the largest being the mobile home park. We had multifamily apartment houses, single family duplexes, many single family properties. When my office was large, I had 2 sales managers, 4 secretaries, 2 buildings in one location. I've even ventured out of the business. I was in the computer business for a couple of years. I started a micro-age computer store here in Sioux Falls. It competed with Computerland and other stores like that. And so my experience is extensive. I've been involved in business liquidations. I was a mortgage broker for a while. And what I'm trying to tell you is there's no part of real estate that I haven't been exposed to. And if you come at a question with something, I don't think I'd have a real difficult time coming up with an answer, because I've been involved in all areas of real estate, which there isn't too many instructors that could say that. And before I started my own office, I was one of the top agents in Sioux Falls. So I can tell you how to do it in the street, and that's what makes my course interesting, is that I tell people what you need to do to succeed. If there's one thing that I can offer you can't get from most other courses, is I know what it takes to sell real estate, but that's not the biggest part of what I'm teaching you in the class. I do concentrate on trying to get you ready for that exam, but you get a little benefit in the fact that the person that's up there in front of you has been out in the trenches, and I know how it works, and I know what you want to know to succeed in real estate. So give me a chance to show you what I can do for you. Again, this is Dave Anderson. You take my course, you won't regret it. Thank you.